Hi, I'm Rowena Henderson, and I am a jeweller, and I am the founder of Reel and Hammer and Rowena Henderson Designs. Reel and Hammer is it's a jewellery business that provides kits, specifically high-end minimalist jewellery design kits, kind of aimed at like a young professional, kind of anywhere from 18 to 40. Its website is reelandhammer.com, and we also sell not on the high street. And Rowena Henderson Designs is more of an artistic side of it, where I explore my practice and kind of develop my skills myself as a beadwork practitioner and a jeweller. And I occasionally sell stuff through that one as well, and that one's just rowenahenderson.com. So I started out quite by accident, to be honest with you. I got a Saturday job in a bead shop, and through that they kind of taught you the basics of beadwork, which I really, really enjoyed. I've got quite like a analytical brain in terms of patterns and things, so that worked really well with the beadwork side of things. And then it came time for me to go to university, and I just really loved jewellery, so I went on to do a degree in jewellery and silversmithing. And from there worked as a bench jeweller, so that's like a jeweller in the industry doing kind of repairs and commissions and things like that, but without kind of the design side of it. And then I went on to work for a small jewellers, where I kind of got to taste a bit of all of the business. So kind of bench work and then some more design work, and bring in kind of beaded elements as well. And that's really, I guess, where kind of like the idea or the passion kind of sparked to me of how I could bring kind of these two, what seemed like very separate worlds of beadwork and silversmithing together into kind of one. Because I started out kind of in the beadwork world, I was very familiar with what was already out there, and there's some fantastic beadwork designers and things like that, but I kind of saw, especially within the kits, a real gap in terms of designs for younger people, and also designs that included precious metals or anything that was a bit more high end. It tended to kind of be more at the crafts level, which is absolutely brilliant. There's nothing wrong with that. However, it didn't really appeal to me or my friends in terms of style and design. And also I've got sensitive ears, so I can only wear kind of precious metals. So it was finding something that fitted into that gap, and I couldn't find anything. But I thought, actually, I've got the skills to maybe fill this gap myself. You know, I've got the silversmithing and jewellery side of it, and I've got the beadwork side of it. So that was really my starting point, was wanting to make something kind of for me and my friends, and then realising that actually it had a wider appeal and could potentially become a business. So I had this idea to kind of launch this high-end jewellery making kind of business. I'm all about teaching. I'm really passionate about sharing the craft, so I wanted it to be kits and things that you could make yourself. And this coincided with lockdown, so I really needed a project to focus to get me through, and this was the perfect one. And then it kind of came time to launch it, and I was really, really happy with my product. But my husband was at university studying to be a teacher, and we didn't have a huge amount of kind of spare cash, so I only launched with probably about £200 worth of products, and that includes the website and my kits and all of the products that come with them. So it was quite a gentle launch, but I launched with 2 products that I was really sure of, that I absolutely knew that the design was good, that there was no problems with the kit, there was no problems with supply, and they're kind of, to this day, they're still my best sellers. So that was I think that was probably one of the best things I did, was making sure that I launched with a really strong product. So I'd had Reel and Hammer going for about kind of 6 months or something, and I was really happy with the progress, and we were growing, but I needed something a wee bit kind of more stable. I wanted a second job, basically, something with a slightly more regular income, and I saw a job advertised to work for the Beadworkers Guild as their journal editor. The Beadworkers Guild is all about preserving and teaching the art of beadwork and bead weaving, and to be honest with you, as much as I took it because I like the sound of the job, it's been really beneficial for me, because being immersed in that side of the bead world, as it were, has really stretched me as a maker and as a practitioner of my craft, which I definitely needed but didn't necessarily know. So I've not got any formal business training or marketing training or strategy or anything like that. I am just a jeweller, really. So I did what all other millennials, I guess, do, and I turned to the internet for help with that. I've not had any formal training, but I found resources online like Holly Tucker of Holly & Co. She has some brilliant resources on Instagram and on her website. I listened to some podcasts. There's a really great one called Startup by Gimlet podcast productions, and that kind of again talks you through businesses that are already going, startup businesses, as it says in the name, and it just kind of looked around and I looked at businesses that I admired and kind of just tried to observe what they were doing, especially if they were in the early stages and things like that. I'm all about the opportunities, and I really think you should just try and go for as many as possible, even if you don't necessarily think it's going to lead you somewhere business wise. It's always good for yourself to kind of grow in kind of that respect as well. The role that I found myself in, or the place that I found myself in now, it feels coincidental, but actually when I look back at all the different opportunities and all the kind of different aspects of my past and how I kind of was a bench jeweler but also a bead jeweler and things like that, they've all combined into this one really perfect niche, which I absolutely love. And the opportunities have grown into different opportunities, and they themselves have grown into business opportunities, which is just really fantastic. It's definitely snowballed. So for example, one of the opportunities that I took that I was really unsure about taking actually at first was with the Northwood project, which was about exploring stories of the Highlands through craft. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's just kind of a quick summary. And that was a brilliant opportunity, not only for me as a maker to explore my practice and to get to play and make something without trying to monetize it or have an end goal of a product, which I found super helpful, but I also made a lot of connections through that. So I connected with a brilliant print artist called Alice Prentice up in Inverness, and she uses risograph or risograph printing, which is super environmentally friendly. It's the most environmentally friendly way to print. Now, sustainability and environmental kind of qualities are super important to me as well in my business. So kind of by making that connection, I am hoping to work with her on producing my next round of kits and stuff, so that even my printing can be as friendly as possible to the environment. Another thing that I think has been great opportunity-wise is moving to the Highlands. So I moved to the Highlands from the central belt of Scotland in the middle of COVID, which was a really bizarre time to move. But I knew when I moved here I needed to kind of get integrated and get involved with the community, because I'm all about the community and I need that kind of social connection. So one of the things that allowed me the opportunity to do when restrictions were easing was start doing workshops and start teaching, which I absolutely love. I'm so passionate about beads and jewellery. I really love sharing that with people. And the small community was brilliant and so receptive to that. So through the West Highland colleges, I've taught silversmithing beginner classes and beadwork classes, both kind of in my own little village and in villages kind of throughout the peninsula where I live, which is brilliant. And the sense of community and the kind of the integration of that has been really key and really crucial, not only to my business but to me personally. And it's led to more opportunities, and it's led to, kind of more income, which it wasn't necessarily the goal. That was very much a secondary thing, but it's always, good to have. And I think when you live somewhere that's rural or remote like that, you need to be connected into the community. You need to have a way to give back. So some of my workshops I do obviously for myself, but some of them I do as, fundraisers for local things, which I'm really glad I can do, because it really does give me an opportunity to give back to the community that's given me so much support. I'm kind of unique in the field of beadwork in that I actually have that kind of jewellery and silversmithing background. Not many of the bead artists have that, or just general beaders have that. So it really does give me a unique position, but it also gives me the knowledge to be able to make my products that bit more high end. I can use the semi-precious, I've got the skills to use the metals and things like that. And there's definitely a gap in the market for that kind of high end product. Beadwork is amazing, and one of the reasons it's amazing is because the entry level to it is so low. Anyone can kind of get a needle and a thread, and even kind of wee plastic beads and have a go, which is brilliant. But sometimes it means that the beadwork market, there's no kind of distinction between a high end and a low end. Everything's kind of all jumbled up in one big glorious colourful mess, which is fantastic, but not necessarily what you want all the time. So that's kind of why I've gone for the higher end beadwork kind of side of things. So all of my kits include like a precious metal, so for anyone who has allergies, but also just so that your beadwork really lasts. I want the longevity to it, because that's part of the sustainability of my product, you're making something that you will hopefully treasure for kind of years to come, and it's definitely going to last. And sustainability is really one of the kind of key goals in my businesses. Everything I do, I try and think about, the longevity of it, how it's packaged, where are my instructions printed? How can I make that more environmentally friendly? Are my plastic bags recyclable? Can I put them in paper bags instead? I think the environment is obviously so important, and that's always highlighted when you live in such a gorgeous rural area as I do. So I definitely kind of keep those key values at the heart of my business.